When it comes to leadership, there are certain truths that many people forget. And because they forget it, it hurts them as a leader. What are these truths? You're about to find out. Number one, being in a leadership position doesn't mean you know anything about leadership. I know I've seen this happen many times through some of the bosses I've had in the past, and it's likely you have seen it too. People get put into leadership positions, and because of that, they think they are a good leader. They think they know what leadership is. They think they have the answers and know what's the best thing to do because they are a leader. And as you have probably seen, that is often not the case. Just because you're in the position of a leader doesn't mean you know about leadership. Here's the truth. It's okay if you don't know leadership yet. Sometimes people get promoted into a position because they were good at their last job, so they get promoted to a manager. But being good at a job doesn't mean you're good at leading. So if that happens to you, just recognize it. Recognize you don't know much about leadership and start to learn. And realize too, you'll never really arrive at leadership because leadership is a process. At whatever stage you're at, you can keep growing and growing. Number two, being in a leadership position doesn't mean people will follow you. This reminds me of when I was a kid and one of us kids were put in charge of the other kids. When we were put in charge, we suddenly thought we were the boss. And because we were the boss, everyone would have to do what we said. I came to realize quickly that's not the case. Just because I was the one in charge or the boss didn't mean they listened to me. The problem is sometimes people as adults have the same mentality. They think just because they're in a leadership position, others will follow them and do what they want. But that's the wrong attitude. Leadership is not built on position. It's built on influence. It's about building relationships and trust with your people, and they follow you because of that. You can go a little bit of distance with position, but you're not going to get very far. Truth number three, being in a position of leadership doesn't mean you are better than those below you. You've probably seen this in your life. Someone gets raised to a new position, or you start working for a new leader, and they have this I'm better than you attitude. And the thing is, as a leader, if you have that attitude, that is going to hurt you. One of the biggest mistakes leaders make is not listening to those people below them. When people get raised up higher and higher in leadership, they often get more detached from the reality of the company and of what's going on in the front lines. And then because they're in that position of leadership, they make all these decisions and processes, and it ends up hurting instead of helping because they're acting because they think they know better and they're detached from the truth. If you want to be a great leader, be humble. Realize that people below you probably have great ideas, even better than yours, how to make things better. Especially for those who are on the front lines, they see the problem up close and likely have good solutions to fix those problems. Don't think you are better just because you're in the position. Be humble and listen to others and welcome input. You don't have to put on an image of I'm a great leader, because when you put on that image and stop listening and make up stuff just to sound smart, it really makes you look like a weak leader. Truth number four, being a leader doesn't mean you can do anything you want. In other words, it isn't about you. Sometimes when people get into leadership positions, they think it's about them. They think it's about doing what they want, how they want, when they want. They may think they can just delegate everything and just coast and do the things that they want to do. And that's just not the case. That is not effective leadership. Sometimes people just see leadership as a way to pursue their own agendas, their career, doing the things they want. And that's not good either. Because when that happens, you're hurting yourself, your team, and your organization. Leadership isn't about you. It's about your organization. It's about its purpose and mission, its goals, and it's about others. Truth number five, it's about what you do as a leader, not what you say as a leader. This reminds me of parents with kids. You've probably heard the saying, do as I say, not as I do. And if you know the truth of it, that really doesn't work well. Kids are going to follow what you do, not what you say. It's the same with leaders and organizations. Too often, leaders give lip service to things, but don't show it in their actions. But they expect those below them to do it. For example, they may promote certain values in the company or the purpose or mission thereafter. But if they don't live and pursue those values themselves, then the people below them aren't going to follow them either. If the leaders say, this is important for our organization, but they don't follow through and act on it themselves, then the employees aren't going to act on it either. If you want buy-in, if you want people to follow certain things, you have to model it it as a leader. It's about what you do, not what you say. Truth number 6, integrity is everything. This makes me think of Simon Sinek's book, Leaders Eat Last. One of the things that stuck out to me about the book is how he talked about the culture of safety. And he said when people feel safe in their company and they trust their leaders, they can then face outward and face the external problems the organization is facing. But when they don't have that safety, when they don't have that trust, they face inward to protect themselves. And so the things on the outside aren't faced at all, are not faced well. Integrity is everything. If people can't trust you, why will they follow you? The more people trust you, the more they will respect you and follow you. If they can't trust you, they will look to protect themselves from the lies or the deception or things that may happen because of that lack of trust. As a leader, in everything you do, you must maintain integrity. Make sure your words match your actions and you do what is right and that you follow through on the things you say. Be a leader that people can trust. Truth number 7. As a leader, you're responsible for everything that happens under you. Yes, you're responsible for all of your actions, but you are also responsible for everything that happens under you. Too often, leaders blame their team for the failure. They didn't produce enough. They didn't do well. They didn't do whatever it was. But the truth is, when they blame, it makes them look weak. And ultimately, again, you're responsible. Did you provide all the resources they need? Did you set clear expectations? Did you provide the training they needed for that task? Do you have poor hiring policies? Do you have poor firing policies? Ultimately, as a leader, it's on you. But the truth is, ownership is great because when you take ownership, that means then you can do something about it. If you just blame, you're saying you are powerless to deal with it. But when you take ownership, then that means you can take action for it. Okay, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Well, I could have helped my team this way or that way. Or if your team failed, what can I do in the future to help that from happening again as the leader? And what's great about taking responsibility too is that it makes you look like a strong leader. When you blame, you look weak. When you take responsibility, you look strong. So there you have it, 7 brutal truths about leadership that many leaders forget. But as a leader, I know that you won't. Thank you for watching. If you would hit that thumbs up sign, that would help us a lot. And if you would like to read more on this topic or other leadership topics, just go to our website at theexceptionalskills.com. I'll see you next time.